Your thoughts do not create your reality. Can I say that again? Your thoughts do not create your reality. Somebody needs to give me this study, quote unquote, that's going around about the Tinkerbell effect and manifestation so that I can rip it to shreds and help people feel normal again about their very real human problems that are never going to go away by thinking them away, okay? Your thoughts. Manifestation teachings such as the law of attraction are very similar to this cognitive distortion, which is a risk factor for developing anxiety disorders and OCD. People think that manifestation is just this positive thing, and how could it ever be negative? I'll tell you how it can be negative. I'll tell you how it can be negative. I almost took my own life because of this stuff. It would be one thing if the science actually worked like that, if the universe actually worked like this. I'm not saying that I know how the universe works. The whole point is no one does. But this, the new age spirituality, manifestation, law of attraction, is literally a scam, and I need people to understand that. I know that's harsh, and I'm going to do my best to make more compassionate content so that I can reach more people and educate people in a better way. But I won't let people spend their lives thinking that their thoughts, that they're going to manifest their negative thoughts. It's just asinine. I still struggle with fear from it every single day. It's like leaving a cult. If manifesting was real, I would be dead. If manifesting was real, you probably, I just think everybody wants the pandemic to be over. I think everybody really, really wants the pandemic to be over and to not get new viruses and all the things that are happening right now. I don't, if manifestation, if our thoughts create our reality. I spent 2 years manifesting a man that I actually ended up getting. I mean, nothing happened until I physically called him, which is also a thing. But I thought about him for 2 years, and I used to go and sit in a parking lot where I knew the town he lived in, and we had dated previously before this, so I didn't just manifest him out of thin air, which is another problem we need to talk about. If you're talking about manifestation in the sense that you want to manifest a partner, you want to do this, do we understand how delusional it is to tell someone that if you think about this person enough, you affect another human's reality enough that they all of a sudden appear in your life? It's a nice concept until you get into the dark sides of that and people with OCD and anxiety and But for 2 years, instead of just calling this man and talking to him about what happened and whatever, I sat in a parking lot at a grocery store in the town that he lived in, I thought, and stalked him on the internet and did things like that and just was trying to manifest him back into my life. Is that delusional? Absolutely. Then, after 2 years of thinking him, I used to walk around the grocery store expecting him to come around the corner. It's like this, you don't get to separate that kind of behavior and expecting that you're going to get a parking spot. People are manifestation is just for fun. It's either we either create all reality or we don't do it at all. You don't get to separate what you think is good and bad. But after 2 years, I called him, finally, physically called him. We get back together, and because I had spent 2 years manifesting him and changing my vibration and blah, 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 I completely ignored the fact that he was a hardcore, true narcissist. I don't throw that word around lightly, okay? I got into such an abusive relationship, and I stayed in an abusive relationship, listening to things like Abraham Hicks, just working on my own vibration, because that affects everything, right? No, I had to physically leave that abusive relationship, and manifestation is, do you see where I'm going here? I have a million stories like that. That is the tip of the iceberg. We need to talk about how this stuff is so dangerous. Think about this person enough, you affect another human's reality.
So no hate to this creator at all, but it kind of sounds to me like that video is describing how manifestation actually does work. But one thing that can be dangerous if you don't understand it is that you are not the only one out there in the world who is manifesting and shifting your vibration and putting your intentions toward things. And really, we're all kind of like one big collective hive mind. And manifestation works, but it works within that network of how we're all collectively thinking and not just within ourselves as individuals. And the other thing I think is dangerous, which you also pointed out in your story, is you may not know what's best for yourself. And I don't think other people outside of yourself are able to say that for you, but the universe might know better. So the trick is to ask for what you want or need or its equivalent and be okay with whatever comes in as a better alternative solution to your problem.
Really not, though, for a few reasons. First of all, in my conception of this, the universe is not external to you, which I think is a huge difference between my understanding of any kind of source, power, or God and the Christian God. I think the Christian God is very patriarchal, external, and hierarchically above. That is not how I conceive of God. Secondly, it's true that a lot of New Age rhetoric is just whitewashing or repackaged Christianity, but they're not inseparable. And a big reason that happened is because people were tapping into something and could only partially understand it because they were orientalizing, because they were whitewashing. But even though it was a limited understanding, no, they're drawing from things that are much older than that. And in a lot of ways, it becomes perverted because we live in capitalism and we've been under this ideology, not understanding the collective nature of these things for a really long time. And we've been limited by a lot of our understandings about society and how people work. For example, one reason I think people discount manifestation, like science discounts how energy works, is because of sexism and misogyny. People think of it as women's work. People think of affective, energetic levels of knowing as lesser because it's feminized in this stupid constructed binary, you know? I do think it's really important to deconstruct and unpack and learn about the histories of and educate about the tools that we're using, the language that we're using.
It's funny because I've never seen their content before today, but apparently TikTok can tell I'm a little triggered by it, so now I've seen like several of the videos pop up on my For You page. And again, like I don't really have any hate toward anybody that doesn't feel like what I'm talking about works for them or is for them, or they feel like they've been burned by trusting in it, because I know that's out there. But I understand in a systematized way and believe that manifestation works, so that's something that I think is like a clear truth to me, and that can be in conflict with what other people understand about the world, and that's fine. And there are scams out there. There's always going to be scams because we live under capitalism. There's going to be scams in both directions, right? There's going to be people trying to convince you that you don't have the power that you have, and there's going to be people trying to sell you the idea of an easy way into power, right? And the trick, again, is to just listen inside of yourself. Not just, like, there's a lot of external things that you can learn about that influence all of what happens, that we, like, have frameworks for. But you can, like, I think the voice of discernment should really be your own, and you do have to guide yourself through an ocean of misinformation in our modern world, whether we're in the spiritual community or not, you know? Listen for red flags, do your best to learn from the experiences you have and from the people you trust in your communities, and, you know, try to self-correct when you realize you're going down the wrong path, but you do your best to listen inside, listen to yourself, and listen to your intuition.
This is a misunderstanding of manifestation, the way that I'm talking about it, because you're always creating, first of all, with all of your language and all of your thoughts, and collectively we always are, and then also the creator / the universe, therefore, is you. So you are surrendering, but not to anything external to yourself. The issue with trying to manifest something specific that you have in mind, as opposed to calling in an energy or a solution to your problem or its equivalent, is that you might not consciously understand all the factors that go into whether something in particular is actually what you want. But there's something energetically that you can trust and lock into that will help guide you in the right direction in ways that I think logic can't always. And the reason why that's such an important part of manifestation is because it's all about detachment as opposed to clinging to a preconceived idea of how things should be. Because all of this is about energy, and the energy is almost as if you are in like an ocean and bobbing along with the waves, and you're learning how to tap into the cycles of that, and when to exert effort in the opposite direction of the energy coming at you, and when to just float along with the energy as it's going. And I think a big part of that is detaching, not clinging to the idea that you need to be in a specific spot at a specific time if something pushes you in the other way, but at the same time having an overall sense of your goal and navigating the waters, you know, and using your energy in the most efficient way, in the smartest way that you can, to get to that goal. To me, that's what manifesting is. It's not about like hyper-focusing on a specific person that you think you're meant to be with, and then either you can manifest them to exist in your life or not. Like, everything at all times is you manifesting. We manifest reality itself. We manifest our own meaning, our own existence.
Does anyone else think it's weird vibes when someone comments on a creator's video and talks about them in the third person? Does anyone else think it's weird vibes when someone comments on a creator's video and talks about them in the third person? Does anyone else
Comments, I feel like my video landed a lot of different ways with people, but I really made that just because I came across a different creator's video, and somebody in the comments had said something like, she's really reaching, just like not in response to anything, just, and it felt so passive aggressive because I was just like, why can't you even talk to the person directly? I guess that's not at all, you know, how it always hits when you're talking in third person. But I don't know. I just think there's something about like not recognizing that the comment section is where a creator is going to be like interacting with followers or mutuals, and so it just seems like, or like you're acting like that person's not there in their own domain. It's like it just felt very passive aggressive. That's why I made the video. Yeah.
If manifesting worked for you, then maybe unfollow me, right? Literally, just unfollow me. Goal setting, feeling better about yourself, feeling better about the world, having things happen because of that, that's wonderful. But that is very different than people in the New Age community saying that manifesting is a science and that your thoughts creating your reality is proved by science. It's not. Go watch my last video. So it's not my truth. I wish that I had found this information 15, 20 years ago. It would have saved me so much time. I understand that this is a very touchy subject and that it's gonna like offend a lot of people. In the other comments, you're like, manifesting has saved lives, and that's true, but it's just like religion. Has religion saved people's lives? For sure. Has it also caused like all-out war for all of humanity and caused so many people to do destructive things because of magical thinking? Yes. Well, you would drop dead if you could see what I manifest. I can make an entire cloud vanish in under a minute now. Can you manifest all childhood cancer away or my autism? Like, do you see how harmful this can be? It's all energy. So yes, it can all be healed by healing emotional trauma. I'm autistic too, and it's my greatest gift.
The ableism, the classism, the void of any scientific knowledge or just how trauma works. I need people to get caught up. I need you, Queen of Roses, 1185, to read a book like about complex trauma, about brain science. I see you read tarot cards, and I have a lot to say about that too. It should literally be illegal for people to be doing energy readings and stuff if this is the kind of stuff they believe and they don't understand brain science.
It's funny because I've